just about to go on now.
That clip was taken about 30 seconds before I walked onto a stage at the Cybersecurity conference with professionals and students I had never met before. I was terrified and I almost didn't apply for the slots. This is not going to be the polished version of the story because you can get that anywhere. This is what it actually felt like before, during, and after. The nerves, the moment where I lost my train of thought, and something that happened that genuinely stopped me in my tracks. If you're a student that keeps running away from opportunities to put yourself out there, this is for you, because I was you for a very long time. The talk was titled, "My Friend Got Hacked, Then I Looked at My Code." It was based on a real story. A friend of mine was compromised through a social engineering attack, a fake Microsoft Teams meeting invitation that looked completely legitimate. Through that one interaction, the attacker got access to our entire WhatsApp account. When I first heard about this, my first instinct wasn't sympathy, it was anxiety, because I'd built an app called InternTrack Pro, a platform for managing internships and applications, which I'd been working on for months. And suddenly I was asking myself, what if somebody came from my app and tried to attack it the way they did to my friend? What would they find? So I audited my code against the OWASP top 10 and I found some things. Broken access control, SQL injection risk, exposed API keys. The talk was about that journey, from a WhatsApp hack to me sitting in front of my web storm trying to find vulnerabilities in my own code. And the core idea I wanted people to live with was this: security wasn't something that you bolt on at the end. It needed to be acknowledged from day one, because attacks would always happen, but the most important thing is to be ready for when they do. The room held somewhere between 20 to 30 people, a mix of students and professionals. And before I got on that stage, I was terrified. Not performing terrified, actually terrified. I didn't want to disappoint anyone, and more than that, I didn't want to disappoint myself. The thing that calmed me down wasn't a breathing exercise or a pep talk. It was me acknowledging that this is just my first talk and I didn't have to be perfect. But my job was just to start, because I could only get better by doing. And this was my first opportunity to do. So I walked onto that stage. About halfway through, something changed. I did not know exactly when it happened, but at some point, I stopped being scared and just started talking, sharing my ideas freely, the way you do when you try to share something that you actually care about. But I'm going to be honest with you, there was a moment where I lost my train of thought. I'd written down a script, practiced it, but at some point I could not find my place in it. But I didn't let that deter me. Rather, I just focused on getting my ideas out. I used my slides as the anchors instead of my words. And that ended up being some of my best delivery. The senior cybersecurity lecturer who gave me feedback on camera said that my talk was well structured and well formatted, and very good for a first presentation. He also gave me an advice which I'm going to carry on to every talk that I give from now on. Understand your audience first and calibrate the technical depth of your talk based on the people in the room. Understand your audience first and calibrate the technical depth of your talk based on the people in the room. The same content could be an high-level introduction or a deep technical dive, depending on what I decide to pick based on the people in the room. After the talk, someone came up to me and said that they knew me from LinkedIn. They were from Bristol. I don't say that to sound impressive. I say that because for a very long time, I thought that no one was paying attention. You start posting, you start building, and sometimes it feels like you're throwing things into the void. But your work travels further than you think, and it travels before you do. That moment reminded me of why building in public was important, documenting the process, sharing what I had learned, and being visible online. That is not just the content strategy. That is how you create opportunities before you even know that you need them. I want to say something to whoever that is watching this and has been avoiding putting themselves out there. I was you for a long time. I ran away from opportunities to speak, to lead, and to be given responsibilities. But I'm not going to tell you that it's easy, because it isn't. But I want you to understand something. You're only as much value as you put into yourself. The opportunities that come to you, the speaking slots, the conversations, the rooms you get invited to, they are proportional to how visible you are and how willing you make yourself. No one is coming to come find the version of you that's hiding. I almost didn't apply for this slot. I saw it at the last minute on LinkedIn through a program that I was already a part of, and I applied anyway. That's it. That's the whole story. Apply anyway. Next week, I'm going to show you exactly how I prepared for this, the full process, the 2 weeks of preparation, a practice session with an experienced speaker, and the specific decisions, a practice session with an experienced speaker, and the specific decisions I made about the talk structure. If you're working towards your first speaking opportunity, that video is for you. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and drop a comment. Have you ever talked yourself out of an opportunity that seemed bigger than you? I want to read them.